Okay, let's just get right into it. Look, we all know chess can be a really tough game. But what if I told you there's a shortcut, a way to win, and I mean win fast?
When you picture a game of chess, you probably imagine this long, epic battle of minds, right? Something that could go on for hours and hours.
Well, you can just throw that idea right out the window. Today, I'm going to show you some absolutely brilliant, devastating traps that can end a chess game in 10 moves or less.
So let's start with the white pieces. When you're playing as white, you get to move first. You're in the driver's seat, you get to set the pace, and we're about to set a very fast one.
You know, the whole feel of the game is different. With white, you're the one starting the fight. You're instigating. But with black, which we'll get to in a bit, it's more about being a counterpuncher. You let them throw a punch, and you use their own momentum against them. But right now, we're on the attack.
And our first weapon is maybe the most famous quick attack of all time, the Wayward Queen attack. The idea is incredibly simple. You bring your queen and your bishop out super early, and you have them team up to attack one single point, the f7 square. Now, why f7? Because at the start of the game, it's the weakest spot on the board, defended only by the enemy king.
And here it is. This is checkmate in just 4 moves. See how the white queen is sitting on f7? The black king can't take it because it's protected by that bishop all the way back on c4. And the king has absolutely nowhere to escape. That's it. Game over.
All right, let's level up a little bit. This next one is just savage. It's a trap against a really solid defense called the Caro-Kann, and it ends in what's known as a smothered mate. That's where the king literally has no breathing room. He's trapped by his own army.
So here's how it plays out. You open with your king's pawn, they respond. You bring out your knight, they push a pawn. Then you make a slightly unusual move, queen to e2. After a couple of trades, your opponent plays their knight to d7. And in their head, they're feeling pretty good about this. They think they're just developing their pieces, getting ready to challenge you. They have no clue what's about to happen.
So this is the moment. Everything looks normal on the board. Your opponent is feeling secure. They think they've made a totally fine standard move. But they've just walked right into it. What's the one move here that just ends the game right now?
Boom! Knight to d6, checkmate. Just look at this position. The king is completely boxed in by his own pawns and his bishop. He is literally smothered. And he can't even take the knight that's checking him because our queen on e2 is watching it from across the board. Just a thing of beauty. 5 moves.
Okay, let's flip the board. It's time to win with the black pieces. Now this is a special kind of fun because you let your opponent think they have the advantage. You let them get confident, and then you just pull the rug right out from under them.
And there is no better way to do that than with the England Gambit. Oh, this one is a fan favorite. You basically offer up a free pawn right at the start. You're baiting them, daring them to get greedy. And if they take the bait, you can spring an attack that leads to checkmate in just 8 moves.
The action is instant. They play d4, and you immediately strike back in the center with e5. That's the gambit. Once they take it, it is just chaos. As you can see from the moves, you bring your knight out, your queen comes flying into the game to attack their king and their bishop at the same time, you snatch a pawn, and then you pin their bishop to their king. It is just one punch after another.
So your opponent is reeling. They're trying to put out all these fires. They play queen to d2 to defend their pinned bishop. They probably take a deep breath and think, okay, I think I'm safe now. I survived the storm. Oh, but they are so wrong. What's the killer shot?
Queen takes the bishop on c3. That is checkmate. The fatal mistake was thinking they were out of danger. Their own pawn on b2 can't recapture your queen because it's pinned to the king by your bishop. It's completely paralyzed. An absolutely vicious way to win.
And now for my favorite, the most creative, the most jaw-dropping trap of them all, the Lasker trap. This isn't just a trap, it's a work of art. And it features one of the coolest and rarest moves in all of chess, an underpromotion. That's where you promote a pawn to something that isn't a queen, because it's even better.
All right, so here's the setup. A whole bunch of crazy moves have happened, and you've sacrificed a piece just to drag their king out into the middle of the board. Look at this. The white king is stuck on e2. He's totally exposed, and your little pawn is one move away from landing the finishing blow.
And here it is, the knockout punch. The move that makes people just stare at the board in disbelief. You move your pawn to f2, and you promote it to a knight with check. Now this is what's so amazing.
If you promoted to a queen here, like you normally would, white could actually get out of trouble. Promoting to a knight is the only winning move.
That knight check kicks off this incredible sequence. It forces the king to move, which then lets your bishop slide over and deliver a discovered check, and that wins their queen. It's just spectacular. The source material said it best. If you win a game of chess like this, you might as well uninstall everything. It does not get any better than this. And they are not wrong.
So there you have it, some of the most lethal, lightning-fast ways to win a game of chess. Now let's wrap this up and talk about what this all means for you. What's your next move?
Look, all these traps, as different as they seem, are all based on a few key ideas. You're targeting weak spots, like f7. You're making your pieces work together as a team. You're using gambits to grab control of the game. You're always on the lookout for patterns, like smothered mates. But, and this is really important, you gotta remember the disclaimer. These are basically chess get-rich-quick schemes. They're amazing against players who don't see them coming, but a really experienced player is gonna know what you're up to.
So, that just leaves one last question. You've seen the Scholar's Mate, the Smothered Mate, the England Gambit, and the Lasker Masterpiece. Which one are you going to unleash on your next opponent?